Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to Midlife Talkshop with Rhonda and Shannon.
Welcome back.
So today is February 27th, and did you know it's my sister's birthday?
Of course I do.
Of course you do.
She's my bestie.
That's right. Y'all been friends since high school, right?
Forever.
Best friends. So I want to wish my sister a very happy birthday. Have a great day today. So today's podcast is about spring forward, surviving daylight savings time in midlife.
It's coming.
Yeah, mark your calendars. It's March 8th this year, so it's the second Sunday of the month. And, you know,
we're going to lose an hour
of sleep. And you know what that does to us, right? It really affects you.
It's a little harder. It's differently hitting than when we were in our 20s.
That's for sure.
We used to get to stay out at the bars for an hour longer.
That's right. I remember. And it didn't affect us like it does now.
No, now I just want to go to bed an hour earlier.
So we've got some great tips.
Yes, we do.
Today we're going to cover why losing 1 hour affects us more than we think, why midlife bodies are especially sensitive, and what's happening hormonally and neurologically. And most importantly, we're going to give you some practical, supportive strategies to get through it smoothly. So let's dive in.
Let's do. What actually happens when we lose that hour? You know, when we spring forward, the clock shifts ahead by 1 hour. But what that means for us is there's one less hour of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
A sudden shift in your circadian rhythm happens, and that's a big time thing that we feel. And for many people, it just kind of feels like a mini form of jet lag.
And, you know, I think a lot of pilots, I think about them in their circadian rhythm where they have to fly to different time zones and they sleep. And
they're always feeling like they're on daylight savings time, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Even though it's just that 1 hour, research actually shows measurable effects. And some of those include increased fatigue and irritability, reduced focus and productivity, a temporary increase in car accidents.
I know. I was reading that. That's crazy.
That's scary because people are losing an hour of sleep.
Yes, they're not focused.
And a short-term spike in cardiovascular events in vulnerable populations. There's something like over 20% increase in heart attacks.
I know. So these tips are going to really help you. So let's get into this. Because your body runs on a precise internal clock, your circadian rhythm, it's regulated by the light exposure and hormones like melatonin and cortisol. So when we abruptly change the wake time, your body doesn't instantly adjust. It'll take sometimes days or even sometimes a full week.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I definitely think it takes a week in this household to get used to the change. Why do you think midlife feels it more? I mean, if you're in your 40s and 50s or beyond, you may notice that already your sleep is lighter.
Yes.
Already you're waking more easily and you're falling back to sleep is harder.
Especially if you have tinnitus. I mean, that is so hard. You know, I'll wake up and it's just really hard for me. So,
well, and I think, hormones are feeling a little unpredictable at that time of life. And I mean, I know that oftentimes I'll get up just to use the bathroom in the middle of the night and it's hard to fall back to sleep.
Do you take anything to help you sleep?
I don't. I just lay and do meditation and I listen to a meditation before I fall off to sleep. I'm not taking anything.
Do you think those melatonin gummies, those type of things can help or?
I don't know. I think it's all according to the person's own body as to whether that works, whether it helps or hinders. But I have heard a lot of data on using magnesium glycinate at nighttime. And I think we'll talk a little bit more about that. In the future part of this episode. So anyway, the shift is tougher in midlife because you have the hormonal changes. And for women, especially during perimenopause or menopause, our estrogen is fluctuating, our progesterone is declining, and our cortisol patterns may become more erratic. So these hormones are directly influencing our sleep quality already and our temperature regulation. I mean, a lot of times you'll wake up and you'll feel hot in bed at night.
Right. So hot sweats.
If we're already going through this is why we're feeling that time change more in midlife, because it's not just losing the hour, of time. It's layering onto a sleep system that's already feeling kind of fragile.
Right. And then put that on top of our increased stress load. During midlife, we're often dealing with caring for our children or aging parents. We have the pressures of our careers. We have the metabolic changes going on, and we have a higher baseline of inflammation.
Yeah.
Especially me, because I eat like chocolate every day.
Well, if it's dark chocolate, that should be good for you.
Okay. I eat
as long as it's not too much.
I know. You know what I like? I like those dark covered chocolate walnuts, because walnuts are supposed to be good for you.
Yes,
Anyway,
indeed.
yeah.
Yeah. So when your stress is already elevated, the sleep disruption, it hits harder. Also, the thing that we were talking about with the circadian rhythm, that becomes less flexible in midlife. So younger adults are adapting faster to the time changes. And as we age, the circadian rhythms become slightly less responsive and slower to do that reset. So think of it kind of like elasticity. It's still functional, it's just less springy.
I know. Remember when we used to go out to the clubs? You know, we would be out and whatever. And then we didn't even notice that hour.
Well, you'd be excited that you get the extra hour, that you get to be out in the club for an extra hour.
That's exactly
on daylight
right.
savings. Now we're like,
Good times. Those were good times. So now, you guys, what we have dealing with is when we have this time change, you might experience some symptoms, not necessarily, but you could experience some brain fog, sugar cravings. I have that every day. Mood dips, afternoon energy crashes, and increased anxiety, headaches, and waking up at 3 and 4 a.m. And I just want you guys to know I have an aging dog. He's 13. And lately I've been getting up between 3 and 4 a.m. And it's so challenging for me, Shannon.
Do you have to let him out, or do you have to let yourself out?
I have to let him up. I have to let him out and like half asleep like a zombie. And then the tinnitus is happening. And then I just go back to bed and I listen to my husband's CPAP machine, and it's got that rhythm.
Does that lull you right back to sleep?
Yeah. And it just lulls me back. So that's what I use. But anyway, this isn't weakness, you guys. This is just biology.
Indeed it is. You might also feel the sleep loss disrupting your blood sugar regulation, which is very interesting. Your appetite hormones are changing, your emotional regulation centers in the brain, and the insulin sensitivity in our bodies in midlife is also changing. So when your metabolism is already shifting, even small sleep disruptions can amplify these already happening effects.
You know, I actually feel like I'm experiencing the insulin sensitivity. Like when I eat sugar, I'm starting to feel not good. Like I start to feel really weird. Like I can feel my whole body
a state of unwellness and the crash.
So I'm actually starting to go away a little bit from some sugar.
Absolutely.
These days.
And substitute in with more protein, healthy fats, and fiber. Those are all more important in midlife than any kind of carbohydrate or sugar. I mean, that's really just not doing us any good.
I know. So
how can we get through it, Rhonda?
How are we going to get through this?
All right, everybody.
With
Here's
grace
how we're going to get through
and ease. Here we're going to do it. And we've got some great tips. And you need to start implementing them now so that this will not hit us hard. And we'll adjust, like I said, with grace and ease. So the first thing you want to do within 30 minutes of waking, you want to step outside for 5 to 15 minutes. And you know what is interesting? A cloudy day, it even works.
Yes, absolutely.
So this will help me because I have dogs, and I will step outside and I'll just hang out there a little longer and maybe let the sun just hit my face.
Yes.
And stay out there with them for those.
As soon as you can get out to have that actual morning light hit your body and your face, you're doing good for yourself.
And again, you have to do it within 30 minutes of waking.
Yes.
Okay.
Morning light resets your circadian clock faster than anything else, actually. The next thing that you have to do is you have to protect that bedtime routine. And you do that by going to bed 30 to 45 minutes earlier for a few nights. And that might be counterintuitive because you're thinking, well, we lost an hour. So actually at bedtime, the clock has skipped ahead, but I'm actually operating still on an earlier time. I'm not ready for bed. But actually, if you go to bed 30 to 45 minutes earlier for those first few nights, it's great.
And you know what I've started doing more of? I've gone back to reading. Before I was into my binging my Netflix and going to sleep that way.
That's keeping your face in the screen, and you need to put that down. So you're right.
And so it just lulls me right to sleep reading.
It does. Me too. I went up to Barnes and Noble and I asked one of the girls working there, like, what's on the bestseller list in the genre that I was interested in. She gave me 2 great new books. And so I look forward to going up to bed, reading for a few, avoid the late scrolling and the stimulating content and the alcohol, because that is not going to be good for your sleep. And we're really trying to set ourselves up, especially this coming week, for good sleep.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's really important. Okay, another great tip is be strategic with your caffeine, people. I'm telling you, don't have those double espressos at like 4 p.m. I remember working in New York City as a young 20-year-old, living there, and these business finance guys would come in and have double, triple espressos at like 4 p.m, and then they would be complaining that they couldn't sleep, that they had insomnia. Right. I'm like, come on, you're not that stupid. You just can't do it that late in the day. So you want to be strategic with caffeine, and you want to actually, in the morning when you wake up, this is another great tip. You want to delay your coffee by 60 to 90 minutes after waking. So instead, have a glass of water first, maybe with a squeeze of lemon, and even a little food.
Water and lemon.
Yes.
A little food before the coffee as
yes.
well.
And then have your coffee, and then you want to cut it off by 1 to 2 p.m.
Yes.
That's going to help you with your sleep.
Yep. And the next thing would be to stabilize that blood sugar. Sleep loss increases carb cravings. So work against that carb craving instead. Let's eat protein at breakfast. Mm-hmm. Let's aim for 30 grams of protein. Different ways to get that would be eggs, egg muffins, breakfast burritos, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese.
Mm-hmm. Those little cups of cottage cheese I was blown away by how much protein are in one of those little cups.
Absolutely. And you
30
can add
grams.
berries to that. There's nut butters, mm-hmm. hard-boiled eggs. There's protein powders. And you don't really want to depend on those too much unless you're putting them into something good like oatmeal or your pancake batter or even your coffee. You can add protein powder to.
Wow.
But let's concentrate on getting the protein at breakfast. It's really important.
Right, especially for women.
The protein is really important, and the healthy fats, especially like you were saying for women, the mm-hmm. protein's important because it not only helps you build your muscles, but it helps with your cognitive function, with your focus. It helps with building strong bones. So protein is very key.
And give us some tips of the good fats.
I think including healthy fats along with your protein is great. You can do chia seeds, flaxseed, hemp seeds, walnuts. Put a tablespoon of each one of those or one of those into your oatmeal. Or, I'll put it on anything.
Your smoothie.
Yeah,
I put those seeds
absolutely.
in my smoothies.
Put it in your smoothie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's different kind of milks, like, if you're into non-dairy, you can do soy milk, but just a glass of organic whole milk is a great
oat
healthy
milk?
Fat and a protein.
What about oat milk? Is
oat
that
milk,
good?
I've heard varying things about that.
Okay.
You want to just try and avoid the high sugar snacks because those carb cravings that come in, that's just it's going to affect your blood sugar in the day, and it's also going to affect your
I have
sleep.
a question for you, Shannon. So you never have a craving for a good old Lay's potato chip?
Yes, I do.
Do you allow yourself to have a little bit, or
I know every
you're
once
healthy.
in a while I do. I just try and find. I think that the more that you go for the whole healthy foods, mm-hmm. the less cravings that you have for the processed foods.
I hear
it's just a natural. It's a natural thing to. Once you get it out of your diet,
right?
You don't crave it.
You won't want it anymore.
But I still do. I do have the cheat times, of course. But I just find that I found other carbs that are healthier carbs. For instance, like sweet potato, mm-hmm. it's a carb, but it's a really healthy carb. And I found all kinds of different ways to do sweet potatoes. You can slice them up thin and make chips out of them.
Right. That's what my daughter loves to do.
So it's just an intentional choice that you make if you do have the craving I find myself reaching more for the protein when I have the craving instead of the sugary snack, because the protein will really satiate you. Whereas a sugary snack, it'll just make you hungry again 5 minutes later for something more sugary.
Yeah, you're making me think about when I'm exercising. Like when I'm really exercising, I find my body not even wanting those foods.
Right.
We've been in the winter. It's been icy and cold storms. I've been wanting comfort foods and chocolate. You know, I think I reward myself with that. But yes, I think now that spring is going to be coming soon and temperatures are warming, we're springing forward. We're going to have more sunlight.
Right.
So that's going to open the door for eating better.
It will. Balanced meals just equal steadier mood and energy, and it's worth it to make the change.
Okay, next we have tip number 5. We want to calm the nervous system before we go to sleep. So try 5 minutes of slow breathing. I like to meditate or pray before I go to bed. So this is where I can implement even more, be more intentional about this, to breathe slowly.
Yes.
You want to
breathe through the meditation.
Yes. And gentle stretch before bed.
That's great.
And then also try what you were talking about before, the magnesium glycinate.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is something that I do also. I love doing this to help you sleep, is take a warm shower at night or a warm bath. I find that just puts me into a nice, it really lets me drift off into a wonderful sleep.
I agree. And I'll use my infrared sauna and then take a shower or a bath. And that's really great too for relaxing.
Yeah.
The next thing is just movement. Not too late with the movement. You don't want to start, amping yourself up when it's getting close to bedtime, but morning walks in the morning, very important.
You're big on that, Shannon. So am I. I'm trying to get back into it. I know.
And then strength training earlier in the day. So
really,
a lot of people go after work to do the strength training, but during this week after the time change, we want to get that strength training and that exercise load in on the earlier part of the day instead of the later.
Right.
Because we want to be winding down at night to get the good sleep.
And I really think if you can get it in earlier period, it's out of the way. You don't have to think about it anymore.
Right.
And
you just want to avoid intense workouts close to bedtime.
Right. So don't chase sleep is tip number 7. So if you wake up at 3 a.m., like I do sometimes with my dog, my 13-year-old dog is just waking me up. You don't want to panic and you don't want to curse, because I start cursing.
No, you don't.
I do, like in my head. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Ugh. And so you don't want to watch the clock either. And you don't want to go back to scrolling on your phone. You want to keep the lights dim and do something calming if needed. Like me, I literally listen to my husband's CPAP machine, and it just like puts me into some sort of trance, and that helps.
Back to the breathing.
You do?
Yeah. So if I wake up in the middle of the night, I'll go back to that. For me, the breathing pattern that works is I will inhale for 4, I'll hold for 2, and then I'll exhale for 6.
Okay, so say that again.
Inhale for 4.
Okay.
Hold for 2.
1, 2.
Exhale slow for 6.
6. I'm going to try that.
So your exhale is longer than the inhale. And if I do that 4 times, I will fall right back to sleep.
You said something that helps your vagus nerve.
It does.
It really just calms it down. That's important. So I'm going to try that. So sleep anxiety can worsen this disruption. So you don't want to go into a panic,
Yep. Well, in a nutshell, just so you all know, this is temporary and this too shall pass.
Yes, thank goodness.
Most people actually adjust within 3 to 7 days of the time change. Instead of fighting the change, just work to support your own rhythm, increase your light exposure early in the day, prioritize that sleep.
Right.
Stabilize your nutrition, have more protein and healthy fats than carbs, and just lower your expectations slightly this week, because midlife isn't about just pushing through exhaustion. It's about working with your own biology.
Yeah, be gentle with yourself. Just know that we're losing an hour of sleep and you might not be on top of your game as you might be normally. So I want to share a little bit of history for all you history buffs out there, that where daylight saving time even originated. So it was first implemented by Germany. Can you believe that? In 1916 during World War I. And it was to conserve fuel by reducing the need for artificial lighting. And the United States adopted it in 1918, but we repealed it shortly thereafter. But we reinstated it during World War II for to have more fuel, and also for farmers to have the light. But we officially had a Uniform Act in 1966, was passed, the Time Act in 1966. So a lot of people either like this time change where we fall back in the fall and we spring forward in the spring. And, it's been on the table in the legislature, in debates, and we're talking about maybe getting rid of it.
Whether to get rid of it or not.
Yeah. So I would be curious, how do you guys think about it? Do you like having the daylight savings time? I think, Shannon, for me, I feel like it's just how I was brought up my whole life, and I don't know what it would be like without it. What do you think?
Well, I think that we would think that we want the daylight savings to stick, because if they changed it to just be one time all year, we would spring forward and we would never spring back. And there's some benefits to that, especially in the summertime. But when it comes to fall and winter, it doesn't work so well.
Right.
So I don't know. It's kind of like, don't mess with something that's not broken. But
Right. I think who was it? It was President Roosevelt. He suggested to bring it back to conserve fuel back for World War II. And then, Hawaii doesn't observe it. And there's also parts of Arizona.
Well, I'm just glad that spring is coming. And I know that, I think March 22nd is the first day of spring. And then we're going to work up into the longest day of the year, which is in June. Yeah, June, and I love that. 1st. And then we start winding back to the winter solstice and the days become shorter. So it's just the natural ebb and flow.
Right.
And I think that we're just providing some tips here where if you really are more mindful of this upcoming week, that you'll benefit from that and that the transition will be made easier for you.
And let us know. You guys do some of these tips. Try the tips that we're suggesting and let us know, did you find it to be easier on you? And those who've got heart issues, please, please, please try these the suggestions that we have for you, because, we did hear that, your heart could be a little bit more, I don't know what, Shannon.
I don't know. I think just a lack of sleep, losing the 1 hour can have cardiovascular events.
Correct. So just be mindful of that. So here are some golden nuggets that we want to share with you. So if you remember one thing from today, let it be this. You're not bad at sleep. It's just your biology needs better cues. So light in the morning, get your face out in that sunshine, and then calm at night. Steady blood sugar all day.
That's very important, the steady blood sugar all day. Work with your rhythm, not against it. I mean, we all have that innate gut instinct. We know if we're staying up later than our body really wants, work with your rhythm, not against it. Losing an hour isn't a personal failure. It's just a circadian shift. And if you realize that, you can kind of help yourself through it. Support the system, and the system will recalibrate.
And if you need a nap in the middle of the afternoon, or you feel like you need to close your eyes for a little bit, do that. Just listen to your body. It'll tell you what to do.
Even a 15 or 20-minute nap can be very refreshing.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please let us know what you think. Try some of these tips, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
See you in 2.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Please follow Midlife Talkshop podcast on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Hit the like button, leave us a comment, and share with your friends.